Welcome to Comic Power. I am your host, Comic Killer 72. This segment today is called Wicked Wednesday. If you didn't know, Wednesday is the new release for new comics that come out every week. These are my recommendations for the best books to pick up on Wednesday. I will also name one book to be the speculation pick of the week. My channel just turned 1 year old. I want to thank everyone who's been here from the beginning, plus my new subscribers. I appreciate your support. I promised earlier last year that there would be prizes when I reach 500 members. I just eclipsed that, so there's news about that coming soon. My goal is to be the #1 comic channel of its type on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe and to share these videos on social media so others learn about it. Okay, let's get into this week's picks, and DC Comics is giving us Batman number 15, The Swamp Thing Comes to Gotham for a request from Batman. And as you can see, Catwoman is hanging around. The writer Tom King is doing an excellent job with this title, but they haven't found a permanent artist yet. It keeps changing, so the feel looks different every month. Hopefully they can settle on a permanent interior artist. Next up is Harley Quinn number 12. Amanda Conner has the job of both writing and drawing for this title. This is part 2 of a new story arc where the Joker has returned. Also, the Red Tool has returned, the guy on the left. It's an obvious parody of Deadpool, and DC is having some fun with it. His first appearance is in Harley Quinn issue number 26 in a cameo, and his first full appearance and cover is on issue 27. That's the new 52 version. You might want to pick these up in case this character really starts to take off. This week's release of issue number 12 also has a Frank Cho variant shown here. I really love Frank's work and his use of comedy in his images. It's great stuff. Next up is HeMan Thundercats number 4 of a 6-part miniseries. If you don't think this is awesome, you need to check your pulse because you're probably dead. But if you were dead, you wouldn't be able to check your pulse, would you? If we can't get a live action movie of these characters, at least they should make a new animated series for both of them. I'm serious. What are they waiting on? Next up is Raven number 4 of a 6-part miniseries. If anyone from DC is listening, you're underusing the Teen Titans. People love these characters. This incarnation of Raven has superior art and writing. It is excellent. You should do an ongoing series with her and in this style. Next up, let's see what Marvel is up to. First up is Gamora number 2. This character should have had her own title a long time ago. Issue 1 set this up as a science fiction epic and had me eager for issue number 2. I am a reader of this. This is really good. Next up is Black Panther, World of Wakanda number 3. This Black Panther spin-off series explores the Dora Milaje, which is the all-female security force for the Black Panther. This title has characters that are confirmed for the Black Panther movie, so you should be paying attention to it. Next up is the Mighty Captain Marvel number 1. This comes on the heels of after the fallout of Civil War II, where she's a controversial figure and some people worship her as a god, and some are fearful that she's a big bully, which is similar to what Superman was going through on the Batman vs. Superman movie. There's many variants as you might expect, like this Brain Trust variant is going for about $60, and the king of variants, Alex Ross, this one is selling for about $150. Seriously, like I said before, don't believe the hype and don't spend too much money on variants that just came out and haven't proven anything. If you're going to spend that type of money, buy key issues that have proven themselves with a track record. Like this Ultimate Fallout number 4, first appearance of Miles Morales, already graded 9.8, $200. Boom. Next up is The Clone Conspiracy, issue number 4 of a 6-part miniseries. You have to give it up to Gabriel Del Otto. His covers raise comics to fine art level like Rembrandt or something. On top of that, this is the standard art, so it's not some high price variant. You can go in and spend $4 and get this cover. The Clone Conspiracy is not the best Spider-Man crossover that I ever read, but it doesn't suck either. It makes some sense. It's pretty good, and this cover is amazing, so put it in your shopping cart. Next up is Monsters Unleashed number 1. That's a well-drawn but very busy cover, isn't it? Monster comics are sort of like a cycle. Every 20 years they come back. They were popular in the 50s, 70s, 90s, so now we're in the 2010s, so they're back again. And Marvel is going to exploit it with every variant that you can imagine to try to sell this. Some of them look good. Some of them are just what the hell, but comics are a business and Marvel's out to sell comics. That's what they're doing. Continuity or sense be damned. Sell those comics. Next up is Nova number 1, which is going to a second print. Let's face it, the kid Nova, Sam Alexander, no one was really feeling that character, so they had to bring back Richard Rider, the original Nova, to try to salvage the title. Because I think Marvel wants to save the title. They wanted to have it around so they have it as an option for a Phase 4 movie. Guardians of the Galaxy already has given us the Nova Corps, so the setup is there for a Nova movie in the future. Next up is Dr. Aphra number 3. This character was introduced and spinned off from the Darth Vader series. The timeline appears to be after New Hope, but before Empire. And everything about this character appears to be source material for a future movie that will take place during that time I just mentioned. So you can get on board with Dr. Aphra right now. The main covers are cover price, and you gotta go back and get Darth Vader #3 from 2015, which is her first appearance. Near Mint Raw is about $15 right now, which is a steal. Next up is our report on independent comics and small publishers. First up is Motor Girl #3 from Abstract Studios. This is the story of a woman that owns a junkyard that gets visited by aliens that are looking for spare parts. I would recommend you get issue #1, which came out in November of 2016. It's selling on eBay for about $8 plus the shipping. It was on my list for one of the top 20 comics of 2016. Definitely recommend it if you like some humor in your comics, something a little lighter. Next up is 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank #1, which is going to a third printing from Black Mass Studios. It's a story of an 11-year-old girl named Paige and her 3 male friends that pull off a heist. This also made my list of one of the top 20 comics of 2016. The writer is Matt Rosenberg, the same writer that found acclaim writing We Can Never Go Home back in 2015. Next up is Namesake #1, which is going to a second printing from Boom Studios. And this second print is also a variant. Image Comics had runaway success with its new sci-fi title called 7 to Eternity, but I thought that Namesake, which dropped about 2 months later, was much better, so I wasn't alone in thinking it was excellent because it's going to a second print. Next up is Lady Death Revelations Illustrated #1 from Coffin Comics. This character has a cult following with a very small but loyal group of readers. This month they bought out some star power with Greg Capullo drawing a variant cover. He's most famous for drawing Batman on the New 52 with Scott Snyder writing. Next up is Dollface #1 from Action Lab Danger Zone Comics. This is from the same insane creative team that put out Zombie Tramp with intentional campy sleaze. They tested out Dollface at some cons and it was well received there. It's the story of Lila, who is a 17th century witch hunter, and she's transported into present day, but her soul is put into the body of a life-size doll by some MIT students using a 3D printer and some other technology trying to create the perfect woman. Now, if you own a comic book store, it's your responsibility to let customers know this is mature content. You don't need to have some housewife come in and try and buy a comic for their kid and walk out with this and get the shock of their life. So yes, I do recommend this, but for mature readers only. Next up, let's see what Image is up to. They always bring the heat. First up is The Few #1. This is written by the critically acclaimed writer Sean Lewis. It's a limited maxi series that promises the action of Mad Max along with the sensibility of Station 11. And it too is for mature readers. With the success of 7 to Eternity and now God Country, everyone is looking at these sci-fi titles from Image trying to figure out what's going to be the next big hit. And while I do respect Sean Lewis, I just don't like the art style on this comic. It's too sketchy. But I would try it out because I like Sean Lewis's work. Next up is the Speculation Pick of the Week. And that's going to be Curse Words #1. This is written by Charles Soule, who's most famous for his Death of Wolverine storyline. It's a story of a wizard that appears in New York City, and he's casting spells and people love him, but they don't know that he's evil, not yet anyway. There's already a lot of advanced buzz for this book. This comic has an ash can variant, which is limited to 1 per store, which is going on eBay for about $10, which I think is fair. There are some signed by the creative team like this that are going for about $60. And then you have this 1 in 50 crazy looking, insane cocaine sniffing, what the hell variant, which is a 1 in 50, and people were asking for about $70 for this on eBay. Like I said before, don't pay more than $10 for a new variant that just came out, or you will get burned. Next up is Horizon #7, which is a hugely underrated science fiction epic. It's the story of a woman who has to defend her planet against some invaders, and those invaders are us, humans from Earth, who have ruined our planet and trying to find a new one. You should be able to find issue #1 in a dollar bin where it doesn't belong. It came out in July of 2016. There's a trade paperback available as well that collects the first 4 issues. Next up is Descender #18, one of the most critically acclaimed science fiction space operas out there. Jeff Lemire has created a universe that's larger than Star Wars, if you can believe that, and Dustin Nguyen, the artist, has received an Eisner Award win for Best Multimedia Art. Once again, I do recommend the trade paperback, which has the first 4 issues, so you will know what's going on. If you jumped in right now, you would just be confused. Next up is Kill or Be Killed #5. This is from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. They are masters at the crime drama, and it looks like film noir meets psychological terror. This is a story of a vigilante, obviously. Our anti-hero here. He's taken out scum, but it's scum that deserves it. And now the NYPD is on his trail. Before we close, let's see what Valiant is up to. And that's going to be Harbinger Renegades number 3. I promise you I'll create a Harbinger video to explain what's going on, starting with their origin back in the 90s. There will be a Harbinger movie by Sony Pictures in the near future, so you should be paying attention to what's going on, and I'll explain it for you later. Harbinger Renegades number 1 came out in November 2016. You still can pick that up for cover price. I would recommend you get one now. And last but not least, we have Divinity III, Aric Son of the Revolution number 1. That is Aric of Dacia, also known as Manowar. If you're asking yourself, why does he look like Iron Man with a mohawk? Let me explain. In Divinity 1, a Soviet cosmonaut goes out into outer space and comes back to Earth with the powers of a god. In Divinity 2, one of his shipmates named Mishka also comes back with the powers of a god and accuses him of deserting the mission. They get into a big fight and the timeline has been rearranged, which brings us to Divinity III, the Stalinverse, where the Soviet Union is the lone superpower and is occupying the United States. And all of the Valiant heroes like Manowar, Bloodshot, Shadow Man, etc. are all soldiers for Mother Russia. So this particular book shows how Manowar fits into all of that. And the cover artist Clayton Crane is completely murdering these covers. These look awesome. There are variants of this available, obviously. Here's the 1 in 10 variant, which I like a lot too. And you can get one for less than $10, so I say go for it. That's about it for today. Thank you for watching Wicked Wednesday, where I review all the new comic books for a new comic day. Be sure to follow my blog at comicpower.net. On social media, follow me at facebook.com/comicpower.net and comicpower-universe.tumblr.com. And don't forget twitter.com/comicpowersub. I also sell comics on eBay at this link. This is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power saying bye-bye. And don't forget to share this video, click on subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and tell everyone you know about this channel to help it grow. Thank you for your support.